All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I think we only got gentlemen out there. I haven't seen any ladies other than Gunpowder, and she's on the panel. Welcome to tonight's episode of Big Unloaded. I want to apologize for our little hiatus there. There were some things that could not be helped, so we had to take some time off. And as you can, I have now taken over all the controls because I now live somewhere where I have better internet and can do this. So good luck on this one. And we have joined us as always my co-host Gunpowder Beauty. How are you tonight, Gunpowder?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for the invite. I hope everyone out in the chat is doing well, especially, our very own celebrity chef, Mohawk Boy. Sassy. He's just sassy.
And also joining us tonight so far, we have Mr. Night Strike. How are you tonight?
I'm good. Is he cutting in and out for you too, Gunpowder?
Yeah, I just thought it was my Wi-Fi.
You're cutting in and out again. Hold the button down or something. Yeah, also, check out guntube.org.
Yeah, do that, folks.
And go check out Gun Gals for any of you ladies out there, because we just hit a whole 100 subscribers. What?
Yes, awesome. And be sure to check out Rick's Life as I Know It's Indiegogo campaign, where he's trying to raise money where he can do stuff for his channel and whatnot, and do some nice things for his viewers. So be sure to check that out. I don't have the link, but he has it on his show from earlier today, and it's found places. Find it, check it out, and that's a good cause to get invested in.
Awesome. Yeah. I just found out I have 810 subscribers now. Luke.
Alrighty. What was I going to say? Okay. Tonight's topic, we're going to continue where the last two shows left off. 2 shows ago, we did favorite foreign guns. The week after that, we did our favorite domestic. This week, we're going to look at guns we don't like or things that were just bad to begin with that probably should have just stayed in whoever's mind came up with the idea of making it. Night Strike, what would be your as perhaps one of the worst ever handguns ever made?
You mean one I believe is the worst ever made? I didn't hear you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. As much problems as Travis has had, I'm going to say the Sky CPX-2.
Yeah, that's not a bad choice. They're not a very good handgun from all accounts. And I think just about everybody who's watching right now on the live feed has seen Travis's video on that. And he's had problems, 2 of them now?
Yeah. He got rid of it.
Did he get rid of both of them?
He got rid of the Sky CPX-2. He doesn't have it anymore.
So you got rid of both because he had 2, right?
No, he had 1.
I thought he had 2.
No, he just had 1.
Okay.
Uno.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, yeah, I can see that being not very good. Personally, I think I would have went with the Japanese Nambu.
Oh God, that's another one you don't want. But yeah, I think Psycho Camp got one at the gun show, Tulsa, when we were in Tulsa.
Yeah, I mean, especially as a service gun. People talk about the problems that the military's having with the SIG 320. Man, I'd take one of them over a Nambu anyway.
Well, even some of the Japanese soldiers would rather use the government issued katana over the Nambu if they had to. That's how bad that pistol was.
It's not uncommon to see Japanese officers fighting over Walther P-38 or Lugers that the Germans had given in small quantities. The Nambu was not a good firearm by any stretch of the imagination.
They did not like it one bit.
No, and the cartridge was so anemic.
Only the bravest or the most stupid of soldiers actually used
it. I would say probably more along the lines of the low man on totem pole is the one using it. Because it was all they could get.
That's probably true too.
Before, when we were talking about the topic, gunpowder, you said you can think of anything. Have you thought anything to this point of, that you would want to, that you could think of to put on that list of what you would think it would be probably one of the worst handguns ever made?
I don't know if it would be one of the worst, but there were so many at the J.M. Davis Museum when we went. I think one of them was, it's kind of a cool looking gun, but also at the same time, it looks like it could not be a good idea. I think it was like the Liberator.
The Liberator.
I mean, the Liberator. Is it a Liberator?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going with y'all.
There's
it was cool looking, but at the same time, it's not one that I would ever want to shoot.
Do you know what the story behind the Liberator was? The story might actually change your mind on that.
I know what the story was. Can I tell it?
Wasn't it like during the World War II times?
Yeah, basically what the Liberator was is during World War II, I think it was either the French Resistance or they were doing it in Poland or something, but they didn't have any guns. And the Liberators, the idea was where you would drop these guns and the resistance fighters could get a hold of them and be able to, it came with, 5-10 rounds. You're only going to use it once, regardless. But basically what you would do is you would shoot a German that had a better gun and take their gun. That's the only purpose the Liberator had.
Well, I mean, I kind of
with one gun.
Yeah, and then take their gun.
Take their gun.
Better.
Yes.
I still would not want to be the person having to shoot that gun. It does look cool, and the story behind it is cool, but I'm gonna put that gun at, I wouldn't mind owning one. It's just one of those, I don't want to shoot it.
Better than shooting a Sky CPX too.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried about trying to shoot anything of Sky.
Yeah, and the Liberators are worth a lot now because they were meant to be disposable, so there aren't very many of them left either.
Yeah.
Actually, here's a cool thing. There's a guy here in the United States making reproductions of them that actually work better than the actual Liberators did.
Well, yeah, made with better materials and whatnot. Yeah, these things were made with the cheapest stampings they could produce, and barrel that wouldn't be much more than a metal pen case that a 45 round fitting.
But I'm not paying anywhere between $500 to $1,000 for a single shot pistol that was designed to be used once. So.
Yeah.
You okay there?
I'm just getting comfortable in my rocking chair.
Rich, you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. My wife decided she wouldn't bug me because the sink was backing up when she'd already taken care of the problem.
Desperate times.
Yeah, she already fixed it, so she decides that she's got to interrupt me about it anyway. So yeah, sorry about that little interruption there, folks. I was going ready to say something, and now I lost my train of thought. Okay, well, let's move on to the next one. Since I can't remember what it was I was going to say now. Rifle. What would be your idea for the worst rifle ever? Again, just in your opinion.
The worst what?
Rifle. Worst rifle.
The worst rifle. All right. Let me see if I can find it. Because I've got one. See if it loads up on Forgotten Weapons. You ever hear of the Walther VG1?
Mm-mm.
Well, basically, the premise of it is it was literally just a bolt action rifle, but these were the last. The VG1 and like the VG2 were the last ditch rifles made by Nazi Germany before it fell. And this is like they were making these rifles to try and defend the cities as they were getting invaded by the Americans, the Russians, and whoever else was on the American side. Because I'm just gonna say we won World War II because that wouldn't be a lie. But yeah, we had help. Like the French, they didn't really help, but the British did. They did a little bit. I know I'm going to piss some people off by saying that, but you know what? Who cares? But the VG1, it was a bolt action. It was literally welded and screwed together. If that doesn't count because that was a last ditch rifle and not really a mass production model, then I don't know. I'd come up with something else and give me a few minutes to think.
It's your opinion thing. That's you don't. That's what you think is the worst one. That's your opinion. That's the idea. I mean, nobody's going to agree on everything. I mean, the last ditch rifle certainly could go into the category of worse because these were not things that were made very well, just by definition, because they didn't have the manufacturing capability to make something better. So yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that as not being a how do I want to phrase this? Showpiece of somebody's collection, shall we say? So yeah.
I think I found an image of it. Let me screenshot it so you can see what I'm talking about, because this is a little ridiculous. Now, they made more than one different VG rifle. They made between 1 and 5. So they had different models. So one of them was a bolt action. Another one was a semi-automatic, and even one was a full auto. Limited quantities, of course. Let's see if this shows up so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, turn my camera off. Da-da-da-da. Hey, can you see this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Gary showed up, by the way, while you were looking for that. How you doing tonight, Gary?
Doing good. How are you?
There it is. Look at that. It's literally just welded and bolted into place. Would you want to fire something like that?
Wow.
I think this is the full auto one, but it just uses a standard SDG 44 rifle magazine. But look at how much it's bolted.
Yeah, if there were maybe a semi-auto or bolt action, I might risk it. I'm not firing anything on full auto. No, sir. Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to shoot one of these things. Would you?
They if it were bolt action, maybe.
They're probably as reliable as that Nambu that Cycle Camp bought.
At least the bolt action, it's one round, and you don't have to worry. You're not firing that thing full auto and having fly off of it.
Let's see if I can find a picture of the full auto one or the bolt action one.
See that thing being fired full auto and parts just flying off as it's being fired. Screw flying that way, bolt going that way, nut going that way.
That would definitely be a little scary.
That would be ridiculous. Gary, you know what the topic is for tonight? I don't know if you saw.
Nah, I just got home.
Okay, we're doing what our opinions, what our worst and least favorite firearms are.
Okay.
So while Night Strike's looking for that, we had already done pistols. So while he's looking to see if he can find what he was talking about, what would be your idea?
Here it is. Here's the bolt action.
Yeah, the bolt action looks a little bit more sturdy than what the full auto does. That's for sure. That bolt handle though is kind of
that shows bottom of the barrel right there. When they say last ditch rifle, they ain't kidding.
Yeah, that bolt handle has absolutely no machining to it whatsoever. They just stuck a metal peg in there and said that's good enough.
This is parts of the bolt. It's only got 2 lugs on it.
Yeah, well, when you're making things as fast as you can, I'm surprised it has.
Has any?
Well, it would have to have at least one. Otherwise, every time you fire that thing, it's unlocking its own bolt.
That just doesn't look safe. Even.
I'd try firing the bolt action. Like I said, the full auto, never. No. Mm-mm.
I don't think I want to shoot that. I don't think I'd ever want to shoot any of these rifles.
I don't think it would be the most comfortable rifle in the world to try and shoot, but yeah, I would try the bolt. Yeah.
Now remember, these last ditch rifles, they only made a couple hundreds of them, but I think they might have made more than that. I'm not sure, but there's only a couple copies even here in the United States because, yeah. I think most of them were confiscated by the Russians.
Well, here would be the deciding factor. Is that chambered in a full 8mm round or the Kurz round?
It's in one of the Kurz rounds. I think it's the 8mm Kurz.
Okay, yeah, that you're talking around that's around 7.62 by 39. Yeah, I'd give that a shot. The bolt action. Let me be sure that we have that perfectly clear. I'm talking the bolt action version. So, okay, Gary, since you didn't get to go when we were talking about pistols, what would be your idea for what the worst pistol ever? Again, your opinion only. Well, in your opinion, worst pistol ever.
Okay, as far as something I've shot or
something you shot, something from history, whatever.
Worst pistol ever. Probably any of those Ring of Fire guns from back in the day, because some of those were flat dangerous.
Uh-oh, now I'm waiting for midnight to get triggered.
Yeah, but considering he's got that invisible Bursa Thunder 380.
Yeah. And he's got that Jimenez that he has that white tactical holster for.
I owned a Bursa Thunder. That wasn't that bad a gun, really.
Bursa's still making guns.
Yeah.
I owned it for a while, and I've owned High Points. I didn't have any trouble with any of them. They weren't exactly go-to guns or anything. I wouldn't put them up on my mantle and show them off to people, but it's a gun you can shoot.
A High Point.
Okay, Midnight just threw out their Night Strike that his invisible Bursa is a 9mm, not a 380. But technically speaking, a 380, if you're in Europe, is a 9mm because they call it a 9x18 or 9x17.
9x17, yeah.
Or the 9mm Kurtz.
What is the Makarov? That's 9x19.
9x18.
9x18, yeah.
18, yeah.
Kind of in between the two.
Yeah. And then then you got the 9mm, which is the 9x19.
And then here's another one that's still in Europe that they
Yeah,
use is the 9mm Largo.
There's a 9. You go over to Europe, they got 9 by everything. So,
well, the 9mm Largo, I think, is 9x21.
Yeah. Like I said, you go over to Europe and they got 9 by everything. If they can find a way to put a 9mm projectile in a shell casing, they will do it. So, okay.
Which I don't have any problem. I own several 9mm guns, but
I don't
there's
know
other things in the world.
9x21, and there's the 9mm Largo, which is 9x23.
As far as fun to shoot goes, I think I'd rather shoot a 45, but that's just me.
Right. Look at the
That's
Russians.
why you're my favorite.
The Russians even have a 9x39. So,
Well, they have this. The Russians have this weird, fascination with by 39. I mean, you got 7.62, you got 5.45 by 39. You've got they literally just have every caliber they have in their arsenal is like by 39, except when they're still using the surplus of the Russian Empire 7.62 by 54R, because they're still using that over there.
oh yeah, that's their 30-06. I mean, they're essentially almost the exact same round.
Okay, Rich, what rifle would you not want to use?
Colt revolving rifle.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't feel like trying to hold that thing and either burning my arm or having a chain fire and firing every cylinder at one time on that thing. That just would not work.
Well, you have to remember back in those days when you had, if you wanted to fully load the cylinder, you wouldn't load every single chamber or every single chamber of the cylinder. Okay, you'd only load if it was 6 rounds, you'd only load 5, and you would keep it.
Not with the that was with the Peacemaker. When you had the Colt with the cap and ball ones, they had a little notch between each chamber where you could safely have that hammer down on a fully loaded weapon, all 6 chambers in the cylinder. It was, for some reason, when they did the Peacemaker, they eliminated that. That was the safety feature on those revolvers so that they would not be on a loaded chamber.
I still wouldn't load them all. But again, I wouldn't want to shoot a Colt revolving rifle, but I would totally want to shoot a Lamont revolving rifle.
Revolving rifles, even the ones made today, no thanks.
No, hear me out, because the Lamont revolving rifle didn't just have a rifle barrel.
Did it also have the 20 gauge underneath like the pistol did?
It did, but it had a full length one. Full length barrel, just like the rifle. So, plus there was even unlike some of the Colts, the Lamont had or Lamo, or however the hell you say it, had a thing right on the trigger guard where you could actually hold the rifle, right where you would hold. You'd have your hand holding and have on the trigger. Then they had a bar underneath of the handguard.
It had the precursor to the modern foregrip, essentially.
Well, yeah, but it was in a weird position because it was just an extension of the trigger guard.
Yeah, but it served almost the same purpose.
I did a video on that when I went to Tulsa, so it's on my YouTube channel if anybody wants to check it out. But that's the Lamont revolving rifle, and That's the one thing I guess Samuel Colt just didn't really think about. Where if you're going to use a revolving rifle, how are you going to hold the damn thing if you're not able to hold the foregrip because the gas will shoot your hand off?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he should have figured some.
That's still one of the problems.
System.
Yeah, that's one of the problems I have with the modern ones that you load them with the what is it like? John 12 Gauge was asking us that one night about the 357 revolver.
Oh, you'd be like, what is this?
They could get over there in Austria. I told him, get the damn lever action. I'm not dealing with a revolving rifle. I don't. No.
I'd like one, if only to have one to show off. I'd probably only shoot it once in a blue moon, but.
And on a side note, when it comes to the old revolvers, I prefer the Remingtons on top of that too. So, but that's a different discussion. Nope, Remingtons were better. Remington revolvers were better than the Colts. Sorry. Frank James would agree with me, by the way. That was it. He carried a 1858 conversion until the 1875 came up, and then he converted over to using the 1875. And his brother Jesse used a Smith & Wesson. Jesse James used the Smith & Wesson. His favorite revolver was Smith & Wesson revolver.
Oh, yeah.
Frank liked the Remingtons, and Jesse liked the Smith & Wessons.
My grandmother's great-grandmother
still like Smith & Wesson.
Jesse James.
Gunpowder liked that Remington when I showed it off I think it was the last episode.
Mm-hmm. Well, was it the last? Well, I don't remember when the last episode was.
We were about the
Probably was.
Yeah, the Remingtons also got nicer lines than the Colts. Okay, where are we? Oh, yeah. Okay, Gunpowder. We'll come to you now. In your opinion, worst rifle?
Not really sure. I can't even remember what the freaking gun is called. Probably the one from like World War I.
The Ross.
I can't remember. It had a stupid magazine on it, the Half Moon. And so one side of it was exposed. And so if you're going and dealing with mud and all of that shit, it pretty much messed up the gun because they had an exposed magazine.
Yeah, I know what gun you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now either. But yeah, I can definitely see it. I can picture it. I know what rifle you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it.
I can't remember the name for the life of me. It's kind of pissing me off. But I would have to say that just for the simple fact that the magazine was that stupid. That you're using it in war and our soldiers have to sit there and go in mud and everything else. And that's the one thing that makes the whole gun go to shit. That sucks.
It wasn't that one of the French ones. It was on loan because we didn't have enough of the 1903s at that point. That was before, I believe, right before they adopted and started ordering the Enfields in 30-06.
I honestly don't know.
I'm trying to remember that because the only one I know that we issued people to use them in World War I was the Krag, which we used the Krag prior in the Spanish-American War many years before, but that wasn't it because that actually worked. Imagine that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Was that gun?
It had a closed magazine.
Was that the one that was under the barrel where it was the Half Moon, or was that the one that was on top?
Yeah, it was underneath. I don't even know that we actually used that gun.
I know what one you're talking about. I remember seeing. I just can't remember what the name of it is. But yeah, I know what one you're talking about for sure. It was not a smart design.
Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't a gun that we used, then I don't really care.
And
But
then
if it
that
was a
one
gun we
Frank
used, then
gun
that's
that was
pretty
real
stupid.
bad too that the troops complained about during the war. That one, the one that the troops complained about, that one did feed from the top.
Are you talking about the Lewis gun?
No, not the Lewis gun. Nobody complained about the Lewis gun. This was a French design.
Ooh. Let me think.
It used
I'm
a-
drawing
it
such
was
a
box,
freaking
it was
blank
a
right now.
detachable box mag that loaded from the top, and the sights were offset on it because of it. Might actually have been a light machine gun I'm thinking of too, but it was bad. And from that time period, light machine guns essentially were a rifle. I mean, look at the BAR.
Well, the BAR was it was issued during the middle of 1918, and we started getting them en masse towards towards the end of World War I. But the Browning automatic rifle was issued in World War I.
Yes, it was. And the worst part is the Browning automatic rifle, as it was issued in World War I, was better than as it was issued in World War II. The changes that they made to that poor gun in the interwar years were a travesty. They made it heavier, they made it less reliable, and troops in World War II hated having to lug that thing.
Oh, I know which one she's talking about.
Which one is it?
The Shoshat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shoshat light machine gun, where if the barrel got too hot, it jammed. It jammed if the barrel got too hot. There's another one.
I mean that sucks too, but my biggest reason for hating that gun is the magazine design.
We were just, if you remember back, we actually talked about this piece of junk on the foreign weapons episode. Just remembered that. As soon as you said the name, it was like, oh, damn, we were just talking about that one a couple weeks ago.
And even in that episode, I couldn't remember what was foreign.
No, but I did. I remembered the name, and then tonight I just was having a major brain fart and just could not remember the name of it.
There's one of them that had a box magazine that was basically it went in the rifle one end on the right, and basically it was just one long ass box, and it went out on the left hand side. Forget which one that was.
Yeah, they also had one where it took two magazines where it fed interchangeably between magazines. One magazine would feed, then the other magazine, then the other, then the other, then the other. It looked like a V, and then your sights went right between the two magazines. I don't know if you've seen that one.
No, that's weird.
It was an aircraft gun. It actually had two mag. I think I think Ian did a video on it. I don't remember, but it actually had it. Yeah, it was set up. It had two magazines, V shape. It was an aircraft mounted weapon, and you would look down the center, and that's where your sights were.
I can't remember the one I'm thinking of. It wasn't the Shoshat. It was the. Let me see.
Yeah, the Shoshat, like Ohio 45 things actually from around Shosho.
I really don't care. It was awful in the first place.
Yeah, it was the French Shosho. If Ian were here right now, he's a huge French gun fan. He would be pairing us a new one for getting the name wrong.
Well, I ain't French, so I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I'm not French either.
Besides, Ian's got his own shows. He's got his own channel. He doesn't have time to be bothered by what we say.
Yeah. He's smarter than us on this anyway.
I wouldn't say he's smarter. I just say, he's got more time. He's got less time in his hands than we do.
On this subject, I said. He's smarter on this subject.
Okay, what I was thinking was the side-loading magazine, which is the Hotchkiss 1909, where you know, it was basically, it looked like it was just the magazine was just looked like just one exposed stripper clip.
Yeah. And it just fit all the way
in the right side, and then as you shot it, it would just, you know, the whole box, the whole magazine assembly would just shoot out the left side.
Well, essentially what it was. It's essentially, I know what you're talking about. Essentially was a giant stripper clip. You fed the stripper clip in, and instead of stripping the rounds off into the magazine, the clip acted as the magazine.
Here, I think I found a picture of it. So, because the problem with this kind of situation is, if you're in the trenches fighting with something like this, you're going to get mud in the gun. The gun is not going to run reliable.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of guns back then.
You see this one? This is the one I was talking about. That whole assembly comes out the other side.
Yeah, it essentially was a enclosed stripper clip. That's all it was.
Yeah, that's all it was, with giant stripper clip that was in the form of a box magazine, where there was no box part of the magazine. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's weird.
There were so many weapons back then that just were not fit for trench fighting.
Because no one had ever done, aside from the Americans, no one had ever done trench fighting on that scale. Even we as Americans didn't do trench warfare on that scale, but we did it on we had experience doing trench warfare on a large enough scale because of the end of the Civil War. If you look at the last two cities of the Civil War that had heavy fighting, that looks exactly the same as World War I because of the trenches.
Yeah, I want to address what Midnight asked. He asked if the Hotchkiss was a good gun. Yes, but it wasn't fit for trench warfare. The Hotchkiss served very well, for example, in Pershing's pursuit of Pancho Villa. It was used to great effect then, but it just was not good in the trenches because the mud would get in there and it would clog that magazine, and it just that was a common problem from weapons in World War I, where they would get so dirty that it was hard to keep certain type weapons even functioning.
Yeah, because the Hotchkiss, the one I was talking about, the 1909, was specifically just for like aircraft. So you would mount that one, the 1909 specifically, on like blimps. You'd mount that on, not blimps, airships, I guess you'd call them then. You would mount it on biplanes, and you use them like that. That's why it was at a small. That's why it had a magazine like that, because it was designed to be light. Because you couldn't, at that point in time, you couldn't bring a lot of weight with you as far as ammunition on an aircraft.
And user, that might be what I was thinking of. Now you mention it, yeah, because you had the magazine loaded on top and they had the sights offset. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that might be the one I was thinking of. Well, Midnight, no, because the Maxim machine guns served very well in the trenches. Those were the ones that everybody was afraid of, and they were being used on both sides. They worked very well because everything was enclosed, except for the belt. And the way the belts were made, didn't cake mud onto them like some other things would. So the Maxims were used to great effect during World War I.
I can find the right image. I can show you what I was talking about. Here, found it. So,
you're talking about the gun that was used basically for shooting down airships, right?
It was used for airships. It was used for the aircraft, like biplanes.
Yeah.
This is a better image. Let's see it blow it up. You see how that how this magazine is designed? It's literally just open, where you just throw a cartridge in there, goes out. This just basically falls out as soon as it's empty.
Yeah, essentially it was like a non-disintegrating belt that you could reload rounds into, or a stripper clip. I mean, that's
this is a Hotchkiss, but this is the I'm gonna try and pronounce it properly. It's the Benet Merci, 1909, Hotchkiss.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on aircraft, it was a great gun because lightweight, you weren't bogged down by ammunition.
Yeah,
But
in a desert area like the American Southwest, it would be a good type of firearm to use. In a muddy, nasty, rainy area like where the World War I was being fought, where you had all this and everybody was in trenches, not such a good idea.
The British and French were using some of these in the Middle East during World War I, and there's a lot of sand and dirt there. Didn't actually work out so well either.
Yeah, but again, it's still a different environment than what the American Southwest would have been.
Right, but because follow me here for a second. But you see how that magazine goes in like that at the top? If you're looking at it from above it, the thing is, there are no flaps on either side of the gun. So basically, there's that hole is on both sides of the rifle.
Yeah.
So when that magazine is empty and drops out, you have two gaping holes in that rifle. Well, that machine gun. Excuse me. It's not a rifle, even though it is, but it's a machine gun.
It's an automatic rifle. That's what it is.
So,
light machine guns for that era were technically, by today's classification, would be automatic rifles.
And the design of this rifle was good for aircraft and airships, but on ground combat where it's muddy or where there's a lot of, and I'm talking a lot of sand, a lot of dirt, you wouldn't want to use that because it's exposed.
Yeah.
So,
in certain parts of the American Southwest, you got more of a hard desert surface, whereas you get over into Middle East, it's extremely sandy. So yeah, it's a different type of desert. It's both deserts, but it's a different kind of desert. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't want to use it if I didn't have to. But this gun right here, the one I just showed, it's in Battlefield 1, the video game. So you can, if you play that video game, you can kind of get an idea of how one would run in a warlike environment. Now, remember, they do embellish in games and make things a little less historically accurate. But you can get a feel for how one would be used in war.
Remember how we were talking about Ian? Here's a little interesting side note about Battlefield 1. He consulted them on some of the weapons for that game and did not get credited for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a little interesting side note on that one. But now this might shock you. You know what always seemed like a weird machine gun design to me? The Browning potato digger. You know what that one is, right? The one that had the little leg on the bottom, and when you fired it, it would kick down, and if you had it too low to the ground, it actually would dig a hole in the ground, which is where it got its nickname from, the potato digger. You could not fire that thing from a prone position. You had to fire it from a seated position because of the way that...
Do you mean this one?
Is that the one that has the action swings down and kicks into the ground?
That's
I can't remember.
Potato digger.
Yeah, those...
It's the Browning 1895.
Yeah. The way the action works underneath there, you can't really see it in that picture, but there's the mechanism... The recoil mechanism would kick downwards, and it would hit the ground, and you literally use it to dig a hole if it was too low to the ground, and it would eventually damage the action.
See if I can get a better picture of it. No, I can't. But yeah, potato digger. It was an interesting gun.
All right, but we need to get back on topic because we've been talking about light machine guns, and we weren't even on that category. Gary, well, for rifle, worst in your opinion?
Well, as far as what I would like to shoot, I mean, that's kind of a two-part answer I would have here. I would hate to shoot any kind of Barrett 50 BMG or anything like that, just because that's way too much crap to try to put on my shoulder and fire. But as far as dangerous goes, I think you could go fairly recently to the Savage Arms 10ML2, which was a stainless steel muzzle loader, which had a bad habit of the barrel exploding.
That's never a good thing to be firing a black powder weapon, and turns out you're actually trying to fire a pipe bomb.
Yeah, they tried to say that the users were overloading it, but they had like 45 or 50 reports of exploding barrels and injuries over the years, so they had to discontinue it. I don't think I'd want to shoot it.
No. I'd put that right up there with Night Strike's full auto Walther last ditch effort gun. Not something that I want to be trying to shoot.
I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt you, but it could very easily.
Oh yeah, shrapnel alone, depending on how that thing would blow, if there were problems with the seams in the barrel and whatever else. Yeah, it's not something that I would want to mess with.
Nope.
Not in the least. Okay, so now since Night Strike and I went off on this whole tangent about light machine guns and what we would think would be weird or worst or what have you. Gunpowder or Gary, you have a contender to throw in the ring on that one?
I don't know enough about them, to be honest. It's kind of outside my area of expertise. Not that I have an area of expertise, but it definitely ain't even in my sights.
Yeah, that wasn't actually going to be one of the categories, but since we went off on the tangent, I thought I'd give you two a chance if you had something to throw your hat in the ring. That's all.
Well, I appreciate it. Maybe Gunpowder does, if she's there.
Well, anything that you saw J.M. Davis when you were there that like just struck you as weird?
I was just in awe at J.M. Davis and all the various. I didn't really get a lot of time to spend looking at any one thing because there were so many things to look at. If I ever get a chance to go back, that'll be the time to actually concentrate on some things. But there's just so much to take in, especially your first time there.
Gunpowder, you there?
Earth to Gunpowder. Come in, Gunpowder.
Okay, I guess she's not there. So next category was going to be shotguns. What would be, in your opinion, one of the worst shotgun designs? Yeah, and we'll start with you again, right?
The worst shotgun design. I'm not sure. Most shotguns are pretty good. Actually, no, wait. Now that I think about it, this one isn't too designed too great. You're a little older than me, so you'll remember these a bit more than I do. But you remember the Street Sweeper?
Oh yeah, revolving shotgun that couldn't.
Yeah, where sometimes when you would go to, because it was still pump, but every time you pumped it, it would cycle the drum, and sometimes it wouldn't feed, or you get double feeds out of that.
Yeah, going back to Ian, did you see the video he did where he was trying to shoot one of them?
Yeah, it didn't want to cooperate.
No, that was a common occurrence with those things.
Yeah, so I'm going to choose that one. Not that I still wouldn't. personally, I would actually love to own one of those, just for the the whole thing where I seen it in movies and whatnot. The nostalgia factor, pretty much.
Right.
But I
And
wouldn't use it to
it's
save my
video
life.
That's one thing I don't. It's in all these video games. I mean, it's a mainstay in Call of Duty and other things. It's like, why is this even in this game?
I mean, it's not a great gun. No, but it's there. It's there because people like it. People like something enough, they'll put it in all the time. So,
Yeah. Me, I think I'm going to say that Chinese copy of the Sega that DDI imported a couple years ago before they were bought out by Palmetto State. Those were not very good. They were a jam-o-matic. When I was hanging out on AK Files, on their forums and everything, anybody who ever bought one, all they did was complain about the damn thing. So yeah, that's going to be my choice on that one.
Well, and now we know.
Gary, shotgun?
Well, I love shotguns, so I can't think of too many I wouldn't want to shoot. One that'd be right up there at the top of my list would be the punt gun. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Those giant shotguns where they had to be boat mounted for duck hunting, yeah.
Right. They were around, what were they, an 8 gauge, something like that? 6 or 8 gauge.
They were huge. I don't know what caliber they were. But
huge, and when you'd fire the thing off, it would shoot the boat back several inches in water. But it could kill up to 50 ducks in one shot.
There was actually a video. I forget where it was, like one of those old home video newsreel videos where they fired one of those things. The thing was like 10 feet long, and the boat literally rocked back 2 feet. It's crazy. But you would kill like 10 birds at a time with the thing when you fired it.
Yeah, it was back before they had game laws, I think.
Yeah, this was back when people were throwing dynamite in the water to kill fish, too. Bring the dynamite.
It wasn't real sporting, but it was effective.
Yes.
People were fed. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think the people were starving so much that they needed to eat ducks. I don't think that was the point.
Well, if they were Chinese, they're used to it.
Man, could you imagine trying to get all the pellets out of one of those punt guns out of the birds after you killed them with it?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't want to have one very close to the barrel. There wouldn't be anything left.
Yeah, it would be like the time when my brother took a 12 gauge when we were out hunting and didn't get anything. We came across the deer pile where the game wardens threw all the dead deer in the woods that were roadkill or what have you. It was a little itty bitty bluebird pecking on the deer. My brother was pissed off because we didn't get anything. He turned his 12 gauge on that poor little bird. You know, in the cartoons when a bird gets shot and you just see a puff of feathers? That's exactly what this looked like. It was like that cartoon image of you saw a little bunch of little blue feathers and nothing else.
Wow.
I mean, he shot this thing at point blank range with number 6 shot, and there was just nothing left of this poor bird.
He's lucky there wasn't a game warden around to go and say, hey, you're not allowed to shoot birds.
Well, technically, I guess it would qualify as small game.
You gotta be careful of that, though. I know.
Yeah, it could have been an endangered species or something.
A few years ago, I was out hunting with my brother-in-law, and we come upon these city fellers that was out. They thought they was quail hunting, and so we come ask them what they was after. They said, "Well, we're after these quail that are in this brush." And took a look at it and said, "Well, you might not want to shoot those. Those are meadowlarks. Those are the state bird. I think it's probably about a $10,000 fine a piece for each one you shoot."
Well, Pennsylvania, the state bird was the ruffled grouse, and that is a very popular game bird in that area. So you wouldn't have that issue with the
I
state
don't
bird
think
in Pennsylvania.
you're going to eat too many meadowlarks. I guess you could, but
Yeah. Now, West Virginia, the state bird is the cardinal, and you're not going to eat very many of them either.
no. That'd be a cardinal sin.
Ah, ah, ah.
Yeah, but the ruffled grouse, on the other hand, that's good eating right there. So, yeah, there were many of those shot in the state of Pennsylvania, state bird or not.
Yeah.
All right, I'm assuming Gunpowder still is not with us. I will take that as a yes.
Powder.
There's only 3 people watching because Clover's Quark and Braden chat. Because apparently Fish Break Boy is doing a chat tonight.
I don't even subscribe to him, so
I don't either, but I think Clover and Ghost just they enjoy going out and making fun of him because I guess he's shown himself to be not a gun guy, but just a faker.
He just gives bad info.
What you're saying is Clover is live now, making fun of Braden, who is live now. And meanwhile, Clover, the show is going on because I sent him a link.
Yep.
He didn't mean to quirk anybody. He just really wanted to get on and make fun of Braden, which is
that where you
really
were?
Awesome. I plead the fifth.
Busted.
Yeah. Told on myself. I'm sorry. I had to go over there and poke fun at him. I couldn't help it.
With somebody, it might as well be yourself.
I mean, I'm surprised that somebody didn't snitch on me in the comments. I was like, shit, I can't look at the comment section.
Aren't you supposed to be?
Okay. So
I'm not going to snitch on anybody else, but,
Yet.
I'm surprised I didn't get snitched on.
You're now 2 firearms behind.
I'm 2 firearms behind.
Yeah.
Rifles, pistols. I don't know any shotguns.
Light machine guns, shotguns.
Machine guns? Yes. I honestly don't know of any machine guns.
Well, did you see any weird ones when you were at Davis?
Yeah, but I don't know what the names are. Well, no, I didn't see weird machine guns. Most of those were pistols that look like freaking science projects. Yeah. Most of those were pistols. Damn it. I wish Pardot was available because I'd totally be like, can I phone a friend?
Is he driving around drunk college chicks again?
Yes, they tip better.
He better not be.
Yeah, keep an eye on him.
Yeah.
He can keep an eye on himself. I ain't worried.
Before you know it, he's bringing a drunk college girl home.
You'd only do it once.
I don't think so.
I brought home a playmate.
Well, I mean, it depends on if she's hot or not.
Okay, then.
All right.
I might sit there and be like, hey, listen, lady, I'm tired and my kids drive me crazy. Do you nanny? If you're going to be here, you're going to work. Good job. Now you're taking care of my kids. I'm going to go take a nap. Thanks for showing up.
Hey, college girl, she might be looking for a job.
Probably are. I mean, when I was that age, crap, I had a lot of crazy odd jobs. Being a nanny would be the one thing that my parents wouldn't have sat there and been like, oh my God, I'm going to have a heart attack.
No step on snack.
No step on snack.
So no crazy machine guns from you. So you guys go to a gun museum, and you can't even remember what you saw.
We saw 10,000 guns.
Listen, okay, there are rows upon rows upon rows upon rows upon even more rows
Yeah, I know.
of guns. And it's not even like they're the same make and model. It's different makes, different models, different eras, different everything. And you're expecting me to freaking remember that stuff? I don't remember what I did last week. I am not going to remember what I did a couple months ago.
She doesn't remember what she had for breakfast yesterday, don't.
So what you're
I don't
saying
eat
is
breakfast.
my wife,
That's easy. Coffee.
You're like my wife. You can't remember what you did the day before. Gotcha.
I know that my kids drove me crazy and I was sleep deprived. Other than that, I cannot answer any of those questions.
You know, women say they can't remember anything, but by God, they'll remember something you did 10 years ago. You remember when you did that?
Nope. Nope. Tell me another 400 times to my might.
I'm sure she's never done that.
Oh, no. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't.
She's been
You remember when you said you were going to take out the trash and I asked you to do it 6 times and you still didn't do it? I'm mad about that right now. That's what I'm mad about. Say you're going to do something and you don't do it? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've had those conversations at least once or twice.
Well, I think everybody who's ever been married has had those conversations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to the married life, people. This panel is telling you why you either A, should not get married, or B, well, just, don't get married unless you're okay with things not always going away.
Nothing ever goes according to plan. Just learn it and deal with it.
I'm not married and I enjoy my life. Just saying.
Yeah.
Don't make me throat punch you.
All right. So let's get back on topic now. We talked about what we thought were the worst ever. Now, this one. Out of all the firearms you've ever used, it can be pistol, shotgun, or rifle. What was your least favorite?
Pistol, rifle. Does that also include black powder?
Yes, yeah. Any type of firearm that you've ever fired, what would be your least favorite of ones you've actually used?
Of the ones I've actually used. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have to go look at it.
That's why
that way I know what it is.
That's why Night Strike gets to go first, so that you can research your answer.
Oh crap! Night Strike was falling asleep. What was the question?
Wake up, Night Strike.
I'm up. What was the question?
Out of all the firearms you've ever personally used, what was your least favorite?
Least favorite, huh?
Yeah, the opposite of favorite? Least favorite.
I think it would have to be Ellis's Wyndham weaponry 7.62 by 39 AR.
And why that did have jam issues or something along the, which I've heard common to the 7.62 by 39 ARs?
No, it ran reliably. It ran, great. It's a reliable and it functions. I just don't think 7.62 by 39 should be going through an AR-15 platform. I mean, that's why I got an AK. That's why I got an SKS for 7.62 by 39. I mean, I don't see why you should. Maybe he wanted it, and that's his deal. He got it. But personally, I don't like 7.62 by 39 ARs. So that's going to be my answer. The 7.62 by 39 ARs.
Yeah, Ohio 45 wants to throw out there the Sig Mosquito. He says it jams. So I guess that'll be like Midnight Range's Jennings and be one of the Bob Marley specials. Yeah, I've never used one of the mosquitoes, so I can't really comment myself on that. But okay, that's from the peanut gallery out there. That's one of the ones that was thrown out there. So gunpowder. If you found out what one you wanted to pick yet?
Yeah, I had to go look at the gun cabinet. It is the 50 caliber black powder Marlin stupid freaking gun.
Well, that you could have narrowed it down just a little bit more, model number and whatnot. But okay, so you
Okay,
just
listen, that means I have to get my contacts on it. You're lucky that I was able to read it.
SFG, stupid freaking gun.
Yeah, SFG, that's what it is. It's
well, we got the caliber, we got the fact that it's a muzzle loader. So
it's the worst gun. My mom shot it, knocked her on her butt. I shot it. I didn't get knocked on my butt, but it did really hurt. And then when we were trying to use it during deer season, it wouldn't freaking fire.
Did you overcharge it?
No, the doohickey that you have to put in it, your primer or whatever, it wouldn't fire those things right.
No. I mean, when it knocked your mother down, was it overcharged?
No. I wish I'd had a cell phone back then, because that would have been a great video for YouTube.
Oh, did you see the video somebody posted up on Instagram where guys firing at, couldn't tell if it was a black powder or a shotgun, and it kicked so much that it flew out of his hand and went over his shoulder.
Oh crap! No, I saw the one where the dude literally fired and his pants fell, and the one where it split the barrel. That was interesting.
Yeah, that goes right in hand with what Gary was saying about that Savage muzzle loader.
I can honestly say I've never had a barrel split in half, and I've never lost my grip on a gun. But YouTube is a great way to learn what not to do when you have never fired a gun before, or that size gun or that type of gun before. You can just go and search gun fails. There's lots of information to learn what not to do.
Yeah, there definitely is at that. Gary, what about you? Least favorite of you?
Out of all the guns I own, and I like all the guns I own, let's be real, but I got one that I know if I take it to the range, I'm going to be clearing jams and messing with it constantly, and that's my Taurus PT-22. Those things, after you shot about 30 or 40 shots through it, it's a blowback with a tip-up barrel, and it tends to, once it gets junk in the barrel, it won't extract anymore, and it is a bear to clear jams in, and that spring is so strong. I've got my finger caught in there before. I almost took hide off of it. So I enjoy it, but you're going to be messing with it. You're going to be cleaning it up in the middle of your shooting session and everything else. But I still own it, and actually it's still out. It's out in my car right now in the glove box. So
yeah. I've never really understood the point of the flip-up barrels on the old, like on the Berettas and the Taurus, like you said. It just, I don't get it. But in my case, and this one might, some people might take offense to what I'm going to say, but if some of you may have already guessed what one of my least favorites is going to be, and that's the good old Glock 17, particularly the Gen 1. I got the Fire Pittsburgh Police issue one of those right around the time the Pittsburgh Police first adopted them, and I've just never been a fan. The grips on those things, I never liked the grip on it. I don't like the trigger. I don't particularly care that much for the sights on them. So yeah, that I know a lot of people probably one of, if not the most popular handguns in the world, particularly when it comes to police issue and whatnot. Me, just not a fan at all. So, anybody else got any thoughts they want to discuss on anything? And if not, we can start wrapping this up.
Call it.
Yep, you're gonna start calling her. So, Strike, got anything you want to promote? Or
Yes.
Started at the beginning, because you started at the beginning with a promotion, so little self promotion. But anything you want to promote now?
Yeah, go to guntube.org, sign up for an account, comment on the videos, upload a few videos, have fun. Guntube.org. And check out the Zany podcast every Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Eastern. Hit or miss.
I was gonna say, would that be the one by the name of Hit or Miss, where the start time is hit or miss?
No, actually, we've been starting on time lately.
Yeah, Ghost has been cutting into your time, so
Ghost cuts into everything, so you know.
Yeah. Gunpowder, you got anything you want to promote?
Yes. Everyone, don't forget to go check out Gun Gals tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time on our very own Gun Gals YouTube channel. We are slowly growing, but hopefully we will grow even more in the next couple of months. I'm super excited for this adventure that we're on, and thank you everyone out there who has been supporting us. And we are on Patreon, and a few others. I'm totally drawing a blank right now. If my gun guys are watching, I'm sorry. It's late.
Patreon, Facebook, Instagram, and I don't know if you got
Twitter.
I don't know that we're on Twitter, but we should be getting on Gunstreamer soon. And we've got Spreadshirt. So a couple of designs will be hitting our platform by Monday, hopefully.
Okay. Gary, you got anything?
Check out my channel. Check out my website, gizzardgary.com. New video this weekend. It's a mail call from Gear Websites, which leads me into my next promotion. Buy stuff from gearwebsites.com. Today is Free Patch Friday, so buy a patch, you get some free stuff. So check it out. That's all I got.
All right. I just want to say I got my Instagram account over there. It's Unloaded Media _ Rich White. If you guys want to check that out over there. I post up some original stuff and then also share what other people have put up. I got a new video on site that I did. It was a video response to Scab Ugly's channel for his giveaway. If y'all want to get involved in that, I believe he's still taking videos for that, if I remember correctly, for his, I believe it's his 500 sub giveaway. And then anybody who's interested, I believe Mike over at MW Tactical is still doing his Indiegogo campaign, or was his GoFundMe? I'm trying to remember because everybody's got all these different fundraisers they're doing now, where he's trying to raise money for training the deputy sheriffs and what in his area and whatnot in jiu-jitsu, give them a year of training in that. And then, like I said at the beginning of the show, Rick's got his fundraising campaign going, trying to, I guess, improve his channel and get some more swag and stuff for his giveaways that he does every week on his Saturday show. So, yeah, those are basically what I wanted to plug. And I said, thank you guys for showing up. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next week. Have a good night, everyone.